Okay, so I'm Leigh-Chantelle. I run VivaLaVegan.net. Hope you've heard of it. I've always loved fashion. I was going to be a singer in another previous life, and I have Leigh-Chantelle.com is one of my websites, and I have music on there as well as clothing. And when I was at college and learning naturopathy and that, I actually had an eBay store and I did recycled lyric clothing. So here's an example of one of those. So that has my lyrics on the side. These are actually the only jeans I have that they come to like farms or go on motorcycle trips with me. But these, it's just fabric paint all down the side, and there are lyrics to one of my songs. So if you keep those sort of things in mind when you think about fashion as activism, you can put any sort of slogan on a t-shirt, and just in your writing, if you have good writing. Some people can't read mine supposedly. But yeah, and just be creative, you know, with whatever you want to do. And I'm sure you are aware with some of the outfits I've worn and the one I've got on now, like the feminine, the girly, the frilly, anything that has floral patterns, is bright, has frills, anything pleats. I will probably have many of those outfits in my cupboard. And one of my friends, when he was looking through my cupboard, he's like, "Oh my God, how many shades of pink are there? I never realised there was this many shades of pink," because that's my favourite colour. And so I've got, on my Leigh-Chantelle.com website, I have a few of some of my recycled clothing on there that you can have a look at. And I used to buy a lot of really expensive clothes back in the day, and when I quit my job to be a rock star, I wasn't able to afford as many expensive clothes as I used to be able to. So then I got into the thrift store, and we call it op shops back home in Australia, so it stands for opportunity shop. So your op shops, thrift stores, things like that. That's where I get most of my clothes now, as well as vintage stores, because I like, you know, all the vintage jewelry. This is from Seattle. And what's that place I went with Rebecca? Red Line?
Red Light.
Red Light in Seattle, if anyone knows that. And I got this dress for $4.25 at North Platte, Nebraska, when I've just been on a road trip from Milwaukee to Portland, so that was pretty fun, and we went to a lot of thrift stores on the way. I prefer to shop at the thrift stores because it's environmentally friendly. I believe there's enough products and things out there that exist that we should utilise instead of creating new things, and that's also why I try to not buy cheaply made things, or things that I disagree with the practices and the labour and the materials and that as well. And I don't shop at multinational stores or department stores because I disagree with the ethics in those sort of businesses. And I'm trying not to buy things made in China, but someone told me over here that America's pretty much owned by China, so I've noticed there's a lot more things made in China over here than, say, we have in Australia. And I might just leave it at that, and you can take over. Next one.
Hello, welcome to the Fashion Talk. We're just doing introductions down the way, and then we'll talk with you guys about things that you want to hear, and talk about some resources for fashion, using fashion as activism. I'm on this panel discussion talk class workshop because I have ran a fashion show fundraiser for the last 3 years called Modified Style. Started in Seattle, actually. Not with Vida, but she is in Seattle. And so we've done that, and it's been a really fun process. We get people to donate recycled fabric that you just have in your closet anywhere, from Nike, from any kind of stores. They give it to us, they throw out, and it's all vegan. I request no animal products, and then we give it to people who have zero sewing experience or who have their own shop. And they have 1 month to make a wearable creation out of it. And then we have a big show, and people come in, and there's these crazy outfits that look amazing, and we have a silent auction. Everybody bids on it, and all the proceeds, it's a complete nonprofit, all the proceeds go to 3 local organizations, and every year I pick a farm sanctuary to donate I wear it with 2 other people, so we all pick one. So the first year was Farm Sanctuary, and the last 2 years have been Out to Pasture, which is in Estacada, Oregon. So I definitely can talk about using fashion as activism. I like to shop. I shop like I shop for clothes like I shop for food, which is like I just go somewhere for an hour and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh my gosh, I want to try that. And then I shove it all in, and then I'm like, hey, look. It's like going shopping every day in my closet or in my cupboard. I also do secondhand clothing. I just grew up that way, doing thrifting. I like it better. I think it's more fun, and it's a lot more sustainable as well.
Also, if she was talking about modified style, go to the website. I'm just giving you a plug for you because it's an amazing idea. It's just so awesome. Like the fashion show, the things that are there, it's just radical. My name is Anika, and I'm on this panel today because I own a vegan t-shirt company called Lion Share Industries. I have a t-shirt here with me that we're going to give away later. Sneak peek, in case you guys, we have some trivia. Also, we want you guys asking good questions. Lion Share Industries is more of an art fashion project where rather than just vegan slogans on t-shirts, which are important and great, what we decided to do is put that into the hands of vegan artists and let them each design a shirt that said vegan to them in the way that was important to them as artists. And they pick the fabric, the color of the fabric, the cut of the shirts, and then we do a really limited edition run, 180 about, and they're hand numbered. There's artists involved in the tagging, and then the artists actually also choose a animal advocacy group for 15% of all the proceeds to go to. So the artists are really involved in that process in designing the shirt. So that's my little company, and I'm really passionate about that. I think t-shirts are, I'm sure there are fashion designers out there who wish they would disappear, but you know, they've basically been an American staple, an Americana of fashion since the 50s. They're for men and women. They can be kind of really high end, really low end. They can be in the garden. I mean, they're just amazing. They're like amazing little pieces of something interesting you can do. So I love the t-shirt. Like these guys, I do a lot of thrifting, but I'm actually more of the, like fashion-wise, I'm more of like the uniform type person where I have like 5 things, and I try and use them actually for as long as I can with like a lot of different stuff. So that's, you won't see me with like a lot of different outfits. I don't think of myself as fashionable, but what I do think is really important about veganism is that we allow space for expression in fashion and not have to dismiss that side of you just because you're trying to live ethically, which I think has been a stereotype of vegans, you know, like all hemp clothing and you know everything's earth tones, tans, and neutrals, and it really is not a requirement. And if that is your personal style, you're gonna have lots to choose from. But if not, there are a lot of other options out there. And I think it's also really great for people who are first meeting vegans and getting involved in to see a variety of people involved in veganism, not just those interested in wearing tan hemp. So it allows a lot of diversity, I think, in the community to be thinking about fashion. And then fashion as activism and fashion as expression, like in relation to design and things like that, I think is a good place. It's not a gluttonous place to spend time, I think. And you don't have to be a shopping maniac. You don't have to spend millions of dollars on your clothing to be able to express yourself and also be a good face for veganism. And then maybe even potentially integrate it in some way, like with the fashion show that Janessa has done, or with proceeds to t-shirt and things like that. I did have this little sheet that you guys have. We weren't sure if folks coming to the event would be mostly interested in blogging about fashion, mostly interested in about fashion, so we're gonna probably mix it up. I won't read this whole thing, but if you guys wanna talk about it afterwards. The style that I do on my blog, because I have a local blog, which is Seattle Vegan Square, is the street style. So I actually have to stop people on the street that I think are adorable, and at vegan events typically, and say like, is that whole outfit vegan? And they're like, yeah. And then I take their picture, and more it's just like to inspire people to say like, you know, look at all this like cuteness happening out there. So that's me.
Awesome. I think we're gonna open it up to you guys to see what you want to hear, what you want to talk about, and we have a lot of stuff that we've talked about that we will we can all talk together. But if anybody has something that they want to cover, let us know now, and we can get started on discussing some of it.
So I'm a new vegan, and I'm curious about where to get good purses.
Did you see Lulu's?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Wow. Yes. Go to Lulu's. Go to Alternative Outfitters. I think they have purses. Susan Nicole.
Nat.
Viviana, where did you buy those purses? for us?
The name of the site is BOSSA, B-O-S-S-A.
Out of San Francisco.
It's like 250 vegan persons.
That's where I got, this one looks kind of dumb because it's really full, but this one is a vegan purse.
Yeah,
That's
also
awesome.
Pansy Maiden, which is, she's listed here, she does a blog out of Philadelphia. She does all handmade purses that are really lovely.
I'm not actually much of a shopper either. You were just saying before you're a shopper, I'm not really a shopper. I can't think of anything worse than a mall and bright lights and screaming kids.
That's why online
Yeah.
shopping is great.
And like online and thrift store, that's about it for me.
What else do you guys want to know about? Are you more interested in you personally blogging about fashion or your own fashion, or interested in materials? How could what we know about fashion be most helpful for you?
Or do you just want to hear us just talk about
We could just
various
talk for a long
things?
time too,
Yeah.
and then you guys can just jump in whenever you want to.
This isn't really a fashion question, but it's a clothes question. Is that, I've seen a lot of ads and things for shoes. They all seem to be like 5-inch heels and things like that. Do you know of a good place to get like regular shoes, like
Yeah.
maybe athletic shoes and stuff like that?
Well, there's a few places, I'm not sure off the top of my head about athletic shoes like that, but I know like comfortable kind of canvasy type shoes. Colorful Grass Shoes, which is a Canadian company, they donated to our silent auction last night. They Colorful Grass, and it has a U because it's Canadian.
And spelled properly.
Also, K-E-E-P, they do a lot of cotton and canvas shoes. And then Moose Shoes, which is kind of
Yeah,
one of the
Moose
most
Shoes, I like
famous
them.
online shoe stores. They obviously allow you to filter by athletic shoes and flats, and typically have some of the widest variety, but also some of the cuter styles.
Zappos.com as well. They have a whole vegan section, and they have a great return policy. So you can order and be like, I think that's my size, and it's not,
Yeah.
send them back.
It's zappos.com/vegan. You don't even have to search for it. They have their own site.
And then Blowfish Shoes, which is another online company, they're not entirely vegan, but a lot of their lines, a lot of their shoes are vegan, and they're really cute, really affordable shoes. And I have a gift certificate from them to give away later too.
And Alternative Outfitters
Yeah.
is good too. And in Seattle there's Chocolate Shoe Box, which is all chocolates and all shoes that are vegan.
What about awesome winter boots for people who have snow? Any thoughts there? Dirty laundry?
Dirty Laundry is a good one, Britt says. I think a lot of the websites we just said also will have those. They have, a lot of the shoe sites will have flats and heels and boots and
Casual.
sale, which is fun. Yeah.
There's a picture in here on an ad for a company that had boots.
What,
It was a
is that
picture.
I think
that's
it was Alternative Outfitters.
Yeah.
I'm talking like boots that will make sure your toes aren't cold and wet.
Like winter.
Like moon boots?
Sorry, what kind?
Like moon boots?
Well, maybe not
REI
so.
has a
I see.
vegan footwear section.
Yeah.
Like REI, they have a vegan like tab for footwear.
Really? Yeah.
In case everybody didn't hear, REI also has a vegan tab for footwear.
I might just share a story of when I became vegan and what I did with my leather boots, if you want to hear that. So I've been vegan for about 14 years now, and I had various leather boots and leather shoes when I became vegan. And it's just one of those things you don't really think about when you first become vegan or vegetarian. And when I thought about it, I didn't obviously want to be wearing them anymore. And there's a place called Vegan Wears in Australia, in Melbourne. It's veganwears.com, and they actually make shoes specifically for you. So I had these amazing boots made for me, and I just had to sketch my foot and trace my foot, and then sketch how I wanted it. And they were like $400, these boots, and I realised not everyone can afford that. But they've lasted me like 10 or so years. They're still going, and I've got the zip replaced. I got a different heel put on it, and so they've lasted me quite a long time. So it's a good investment, and they're good boots for winter as well. We don't get snow in Britain, so I don't know about the snow boots, but that's a good way. And also because they do make boots as well. Some of the shoes I really liked the heels with. I just sent them the shoes and they put a different top on the shoes, so I kept the heels, so it's also an environmental thing as well. So if you do like shoes that, you know, I know a lot of people that like particular shoes that are leather, so that might be an option for people as well. I don't know if there's anywhere in the States that actually makes shoes for people.
Milk and honey.
Milk and honey do.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not totally vegan, but they have all the vegan materials listed and you
Oh,
design
cool.
the whole entire shoe.
Yeah, so these ones from Vegan Wears, it's a vegan microfiber that they use, and they actually have quite a few different colours as well. So they have like really cool. They do lots of things. Have a look on their website because there's lots of cool things that they do. And I suggest for people that don't want to give their shoes or their leather shoes away or something, you could do like a little burial ceremony for that animal that died for that, you know, those shoes. That's another good option.
One of the other things we thought we would want to talk about with you guys is the other ethics involved in fashion and clothing. So, you know, where the clothing was made, what other types of materials it's made out of besides animals. For some people, it makes sense that they're just being vegan is what's key for them, and that's the primary purpose in purchasing. For others, they also want to know, was it made in China? You know, was it made locally? Were there fair labor practices involved? Organic materials. When you get into cotton, cotton is one of the crops that uses the most pesticides and herbicides in the United States, for example. And I know those are the types of things that I think vegans are interested in and want to talk about. So if you guys want to talk about some of those issues in relation to vegan fashion too, I think.
Well, it's interesting. I think there is definitely a line with vegan fashion. You know, when you become a vegan, you're like, this is great. I don't eat animals anymore. I don't eat that. And then you look in your closet and you're like, oh, geez, wow, you know. And I think that's okay. I think there's a whole spectrum of that. And maybe you do have like your aunt's favorite cashmere sweater in your closet, and you just can't let yourself get rid of it. That doesn't make you a bad vegan. You know, like that's okay. We all have our own lines that we draw, and some of it is like super sustainable, local, expensive things that last forever. Other people just do what they can, and they don't buy new animal products, but they'll shop vintage, you know. I personally think that whatever you do is good. Like, we're all trying the best that we can do, so just do your own, what makes you feel best. And then I think it's easier as you get more and more used to it. You're not going to want to do that anymore, you know. When I first became vegan, I had a pair of boots that were just like thrifted brown boots, and I still wore them, and I think they were leather, and I was fine with it. And then I watched Earthlings, and then I was like, oh God, gross. And so I just got rid of them right the next day. And I haven't bought anything again from there. So I think we all have our own lines that we draw, and
I'll give an example of that. And I mean, hopefully people feel open and safe to talk about this stuff too. There's no judgment that's going to happen in this room or fashion, but this scarf that I'm wearing right now is silk. I went vegan in 1993, and before that I was still obsessed with scarves. So I have about 30 secondhand scarves that I bought at Goodwill, like down the street from my house, all through middle school and high school, and I've just kept them because they're not damaged, and it's really hard to find other scarves. So for me, it's like, well, I'm not rebuying scarves. I'm not like putting stuff out there. I think an argument against it, if I were to argue with myself, is, you know, which I try not to do. Would be, you know, people want to know, you know, if you're vegan and you care so much, and I do, you know, I am intense about it in other areas, like, how can you wear silk? People might not realize what happens in the silk industry, what happens to the silkworm, and you know, I'm totally open to that argument. I think scarves are one of those things that people don't know whether it's polyester or silk, so perhaps they're assuming that they're vegan, even if they're not. But for me, it made sense to not rebuy 30 scarves and just, that for me made sense, but I would totally understand somebody else who's like uncomfortable wearing that. And for sure, like, if you asked me the same question about, like, if I had a fur coat or something, I would have been like, no way would I have kept it, no way would I wear it out in public. You know what I mean? So we all have our own lines, and I think that's, if you're trying to do the best that you can for animals, that's kind of, like, that's the key. Not whether people are judging you on your silk scarf.
Whereas for me, I think that by what you're wearing is giving an example of what a vegan is. And I've had this conversation with a couple of my friends that still are vegan friends that wear leather boots, and they have, you know, leather guitar straps or things like that. And if people know that they're vegan and they're wearing leather, that's like saying that that's okay to do that, in my opinion. that's you know, you're walking down the street and someone goes, oh, you know, so and so's a vegan and they're wearing leather shoes. That's okay as a vegan, and I think there's just so many grey areas with veganism that I think we all need to be on the same page of what we wear and what we don't use with things. And I also it's an issue of you know, how much money you have as well, because not everyone can afford to replace these things, and it's a economical,
Well, and to support
environmental
Elsie's
issue as
argument,
well.
as it's open here, one time especially when it comes to buying secondhand, somebody, I think I just heard this argument this weekend, and it might have been while I was researching these blogs, saying that to buy something secondhand because it already exists is like the same thing as like eating meat because it's already on the plate in bed.
Yeah.
You know, like there's
Like
you-
veganism.
Free, yeah,
Yeah.
which is, freegan, if anybody's unfamiliar with that term. You know,
Just-
it's only being vegan in the things that you actually purchase, but if things are free, consuming them. So,
Like
you know,
dumpster
if somebody
diving,
gave you a
whatever's
free
going on.
rabbit fur coat, you'd be like, score, and I would be like, ew.
Mm.
But that's like a totally valid lifestyle. It's just not the same thing as being vegan. And so, like, you know, to justify something just because it already exists, like consuming it and doing it would be the same as like, well, somebody already killed this cow, or this food's already here, or the chicken's already in the stock, or you know, those already, which is arguments that are used against me by my mother all the time. She's like, well, I already cooked it, and you know, this chicken was already killed, like you're not contributing to it, or you know.
I think going vegan and trying to live an ethically compassionate lifestyle in fashion is the same as food at first. Like when you first become vegan, I think it's really nice sometimes to have that crutch of Daiya cheese and soy burgers and those things that maybe have taste and consistency like you like. So it's and then, you know, the more you do it, the more you're like, oh, you know what? I just want to eat like a head of kale and some garbanzo beans for lunch because that's so good. And I think it's kind of the same with fashion, where like at first you're like, well, maybe I'll hold on to this, you know, this scarf or these boots, and then after a while you're like, I'm good, not, you know, it's good, and we don't know where other people are on their path of accepting that. So it's not up to us to judge necessarily.
Yeah, one thing we can also talk about is there's some kind of fashion forward companies who are working on like, you know, vegan leathers and like nicer faux furs, who are really trying to support veganism in the fashion industry. That would be like one point of view on the issue, wearing like faux things that were really realistic. And then there's the other side of the view, which is like, let's not wear anything that resembles animal products, so that we take those things out of the style lexicon, you know, so that those things we don't start associating, continue to associate skin with fashion. And I think both arguments are really interesting and important for us to talk about. And you know, I have some shoes that, especially shoes, I think I have a lot that look like fake leather probably. But you know, I know people who would never wear like a fake leather coat, and I think it's all of that is an interesting part of this conversation, is what is the next step for how we clothe ourselves and what it looks like and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a question back here.
Like fake leather be the same as fake meat type of thing? Eating fake
Yeah.
meat, it looks like a burger and it looks like leather.
Right, somebody down the street, they might not know if you're eating a soy burger or a cow
Like
burger,
the-
or they might not know
Like
Totally.
the
what
burger
foods you're
last
wearing.
night looked like a burger.
Yeah, the eco-vegan burgers,
So
yeah.
isn't that kind of the same thing?
Yeah, it's I guess a bit of a dilemma. Like you want to give the option of that there are good alternatives to you know, leather or fur or whatever, but then do you want to be wearing those things to say that you agree with the fact that you need to wear leather or wear fur to be fashionable? I think that's up to the person. I actually have a gorgeous fake fur, this white long sort of one that I've worn in the past, and I just can't bring myself to wear it anymore because it's even though you can tell it's not real fur, you know, it still gives that impression that fur is good or something, and I really struggle with that one at times because it's so gorgeous and it's like this beautiful vintage fur, fake fur, but yeah, I just don't want to wear it, and in particular when I go down south to some vegan festivals we have in Australia that I would need to be warmer than in Brisbane, for example. I just can't bring myself to wear it at a vegan event with other people. Yeah, I still have it though, and that's fake. So,
What do you guys think?
I know, I have a fake leather coat, and a guy I used to work with was going to buy his girlfriend a leather coat, for her birthday, and then he saw mine and just really liked it, and he went to a vegan website and bought it. So I mean,
Yeah.
he got her that instead of the real
That's
one.
true. I do have one as well, and when I wear it, people ask, they're like, you're vegan, but you're wearing that? I'm like, you don't have to buy real leather. You can totally get
And then they
stuff
find out
that's
it's
cute
way
and stuff.
cheaper than a real leather.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, maybe I'll just get that. Yeah.
That helps.
Get rained on.
And yeah, a few people I know. I did a few interviews recently, like with Jackie Horrocks from Alternative Outfitters, and she was saying they don't actually have any fake fur in their company, and a few people, non-vegans, might ask for it, but most of her clients are vegans, and the majority of them don't want to have fake fur.
Yeah, but at the same time, they do have fake leather, so,
Yeah,
That's where I got
yeah,
mine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
and, you know, I think that can also dovetail into the conversation about materials and all of that stuff as well.
Mika brought up a point yesterday about, this is one of your questions.
Oh, yeah,
Trivia questions.
don't ruin the trivia
Let's do a
question.
trivia question right now.
Okay, oh yeah, let's do
Okay.
one. So, really fancy prize of a vegan button. And so these are all very fashionista questions a bit. So, it's okay, so the first one is, what vegan fashion design company just came out with her fall lookbook? That actually, if you pre-order right now, you can get 45% off. Look at them all. I think, I don't know, somebody went up first over here. How about in the blue shirt with the bicycle?
Vogue Couture.
Woohoo! Tell me your vegan button. Should I throw it to you? I'm a terrible thrower.
No,
I'll like
don't
throw
let
it
me
in
be
my
a
house.
thrower.
I'll totally hit you with it.
You're like, I knew I shouldn't have said
Move it back.
So, for those of you who are not familiar with Vogue Couture, it's an entirely vegan fashion company. They do coats, particularly gorgeous, like just coats. Yeah, coats. I mean, they're just beautiful. And then really some very stylish T-shirts and
recycled material.
and recycled material.
And
Just
really
like
warm.
this is
made
a
in America.
exactly. This is a place where like all sort of ethics go into it. But her coats are, you know, $200 or $300. So they're real investments into like a piece of fashion that will hopefully last you for, like Elsie was saying, like 10 years. You hope, but, and then supporting like a really great vegan company and all of that. So.
Oh, what was that company again? Sorry.
Vogue Couture, VAUTE COUTURE.
And I did an interview with her as well, with Leigh-Anne from there, and her friend Joshua Catcher, who runs the Discerning Brood, and what's his new label?
I think
Brave
Brave
Gentleman.
Gentleman.
Brave Gentleman, yeah. So he's also, both of them are into the environmental aspects of the products they use and the fabrics they use and the people that they use to produce the fabrics as well and produce the garments. So yeah,
Really
he's
cool.
just got some new ties. When I was interviewing him, he's got these gorgeous new ties that came out. He's wonderful. The only gentleman in the room. He said to me that when the ties, like that inner bit in the black underneath, there's like
The lining.
a
Yeah,
mesh, the
lining, yeah.
lining. Some of that is not actually vegan, but it's said like it'll say that it's polyester or whatever.
Yeah,
but on that
women
lining,
sometimes.
they don't have to say that.
Huh.
And so I never knew that.
Wow.
But even if he's the only guy in the room, like we could all buy like our dad or our boyfriend or our friend's ties.
right, that's
and
right.
It's a good way to teach them that what they were wearing wasn't necessarily
And
good. Or
John Jay is a sponsor, right?
Yeah.
On the conference, so
Yeah.
they have good stuff. I've got 2 of those.
Yeah, they've got non-silk ties.
Yeah.
Speaking of like $200 coats and $400 shoes, like I don't do that. I'm so messy and so clumsy. Like I can't. Like I'll go out and I'll just spill stuff all over myself. I rip stuff. I just don't. Like I can't. So I don't buy the really expensive stuff. That's why I go thrifting and I'm like, oh my god, $20 for jeans. I guess. It's like, you can have champagne later, but maybe I will anyway. I don't know. So that's my fashion style is like I don't do that. I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I'd rather spend my money on traveling somewhere or champagne or other
Champagne, basically.
Basically, moral of the story.
I don't
champagne.
want champagne.
And also from a marketing perspective, we want veganism to be easy for people too. So if you're saying you can only buy these shoes because they're ethical and environmentally friendly, they're not harming anyone or whatever, that I don't think that's really achievable for a large majority of
Right.
people.
It's not, and it's kind of if you can have affordable vegan things on one end of the spectrum and thrifting, and then for those folks who, or maybe I think a lot of stuff comes out of New York, for whom fashion is such a deep part of their culture, to think that they'd have to give it up to go vegan. I think those people who are doing the high-end fashion that fill that void really help them like there is removing barriers to becoming vegan for things that are important to people, I think is really neat. I think it's good. I'm gonna ask another question, Kyle. What is the name of the new all men's vegan online store that launched this past year? You.
Ethical man.
Yes, the Ethical Man, run by Dan Mins. Oh, I'm not gonna turn this. We need an assistant. Yeah?
Do you want me to do it?
Right here, will you just look at this, Brett?
Yeah. Thanks, Brett.
I know.
I didn't really have a store.
How about Ryan's share?
We have a little lines, but they just say vegan on them. Yeah, so, totally just forgot what I was gonna say about Dan Mins. Oh, men's store. So, the Ethical Man is run by Dan Mins out of New York. Right now it's a pretty small shop. I think he only has like 15 or 20 items. But I think that's actually new. So I think vegan fashion for women has actually been around really prevalent for at least 10, 15 years now. I mean, with alternative outfitters was one of the early ones. But for men, it's been much more difficult, especially to get nicer things. And so kudos to Dan for giving it a go and, making that happen for gentlemen.
Yes.
I just have a question, and I snuck in, so if you guys already covered this, please forgive me. But I don't know, Gucci, I believe, just came out with
Rubber shoes.
the
Rubberman.
shoe, the vegan shoe, and they were promoting it. What do you all think about companies that do that obviously still are going to, I'm sure, sell non-vegan clothing or wares, but then they do have, vegan options? What are your thoughts?
I think that's a really good question. I think it probably goes into a lot of different choices that we can do. Like if a restaurant is serving a vegan meal, do you go and support them even though they're also serving a lot of meat? Or do you just support vegan-owned restaurants? I think we all draw our own lines. Personally, I think if somebody's trying to go in that direction, and they're doing that, even if it is just marketing, but I think it's still great to show that there's a market for it. Be like, yeah, we'll buy it, and then come out in force and have them be like, whoa, holy cow, sure, let's make more like this. I think every little bit helps.
I think this is part of that line for, like we said, people's personal lines. If taking vegan mainstream is an important part of how you feel you're going to be active, and that's not always the case for everyone, then probably supporting some of those more mainstream iterations of products. Adidas has like a vegan shoe, and there's probably a handful more, and then that would be definitely the direction you'd want to go to really like show them that there's a market for it, that it matters, people are buying it. You can, again, like show somebody in your office or wherever, like, oh, these are, they're Gucci, but they're vegan, and support it. And totally, if you want to go the other direction and say, like, I don't want that money in the hands of a company that is making money off of leather. It goes the same with the like you were saying, restaurants, but with a lot of other companies, that is a totally valid option as well. But I would lean towards buying the vegan item from a non-vegan company personally. That would be my choice. If I
I just want to mention, this is not fashion related, but we talked about this in the product reviews and the restaurant reviews class today, that we have a pizza place in LA that started, it was a regular pizza place, and they started offering vegan options. They got enough vegan business that they turned the whole pizza place vegan. And
we had that happen in Seattle as well.
That's pretty amazing. That's
with the
rare,
Chinese
obviously,
restaurants.
but it happens.
It happens. I mean, people
it's
do,
a
and
business
vegans are a really loyal
Right,
audience.
right.
Like you get vegans on your side, and you're doing pretty good because we like to support it. we're passionate about what we do. So if you can get us into your product, then who knows what'll happen.
I've got some friends in the group. I run a not-for-profit Green Earth group back home, and some of them have this idea that if we go to this meat, I call it the carcass house. I don't know what it's called, the name, sorry. But if we all go there and like a group of 20 vegans and we just order vegan meals from this place, that's a really good way of activism, and I cannot bring myself to go there and give my money towards that place, so I'm against that. But I have quite a few people that want to do something like that, and I just don't see the effectiveness in that one, to be honest. But I guess that's up to everyone else, whatever you decide.
Yes, Lydiana?
To go what you're saying, Lee, what I like to call my version of vegan activism, I go into places that I know have no vegan options, ask them if they do, they say they don't, and I walk out.
Yeah.
I do that everywhere I go.
I do that too. And then I tell my friends to call them.
Because it just brings attention. I call, I email, I put it on Facebook, Twitter,
Yeah.
everywhere I can go, just to make reputation that yes, if you start offering things, you might get more
Yeah,
business.
and also we do like letter writing nights, and one of the people that we target is your local businesses, and we give them a little flyer of these are some options that you could include in your menu. You don't have anything at the moment. How about this? These are vegan versions of what you have as well. So yeah, activism in that way, I'm definitely all for. But just this other one, I cannot understand it.
John Fluvog in the last 2 years finally came out with Vegan Line too, and that was partially because John Fluvog, shoe designer,
Okay.
and because people are like and of course who just came out with their vegan. Oh my god, what's it? I'm totally losing my mind at the moment. What?
Jeffrey Campbell?
No, I'm totally thinking
What
of
is
foods.
it?
But anyway, so going to local shoe stores, asking if they have vegan shoes. I go into boutiques that have shoes and just say, "Where are your vegan shoes?" And they're like,
Yeah, that's great.
and sometimes actually they might know, but it'll be like one. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh." And they'll be.
But a lot of people, I think, also don't realize vegan shoe. What? Like, you mean edible shoes? Like, they don't know. So it's like to show people, like, no, there's more to being a vegan than what we eat.
Yeah.
It's just a great way to do.
Okay, I'm gonna ask
outreach that
another
way.
trivia question here. What is the name of the vegan fashion blog out of Toronto with the subtitle
Streets I
"Putting the
Know."
Compassion into"?
You really got a badge.
I know,
It's
but-
not fair.
I have another question.
Maybe another
Well, we
question.
gotta hear the answer.
Oh, the answer is The Streets I Know.
Okay.
It's on here. And Melanie Pease runs the blog. She does hers in very magazine style, which is she puts outfits together from things that she finds so that you can actually go buy the things that she has found. And she's very passionate about it and is a designer herself, so I highly recommend that blog.
Who gets the badge then?
I'll just ask another question.
Okay.
And unless you really want to, but
No, it's okay.
okay, because I know you'd be like,
I didn't mean to do
there's a black one and a white
Okay,
one.
I was like,
Okay, name. So I don't want to name one because we already talked about it. How about name as many as you can of the vegan clothing, accessories, and fashion companies who've sponsored this event? Who wants to give it a try? There's at least 4, maybe 5.
is the press still about that?
Yeah. Is this one hard enough that we should give away a shirt?
Okay,
How about
but,
make it for this?
all right.
Okay,
so-
here's the prize for this trivia question.
Blowfish Shoes. It's a gift certificate to win one amazing pair of shoes.
Yeah. a
Not
free pair of
looking in your.
Yeah, don't look in your
I just saw
program.
that.
Colorful grass,
Good.
perfect pineapples, Lulu's, alternative outfitters, and Compassion Couture.
Wow,
That's
that was
great.
amazing.
Some other ones are John J. Ties,
Mm-hmm.
Lion
Lion
share.
Lion Share.
Good on, good on.
Did we miss any alternative outfitters, which we didn't really talk about yet? And I think that's
Do you want me to pass that?
Good job, you get
Yay!
Oh, no, I'm really gonna shut up.
You get a gold star as well.
So,
I might talk about makeup, hey?
yeah, let's do it.
I'm a bit obsessed with makeup.
Oh
so-
my gosh, I'm her roommate.
Yeah. And accessories too. But I love makeup. I always have. I just think it's a really artistic way to express yourself, and I've got some makeup videos on my website as well and on my YouTube channel, so you can do my 5-minute makeup one, or I've got articles on the website too. And also I just played a mermaid recently in a friend's DVD, so I've got how to do professional mermaid makeup as well, if ever you need to see that. Yeah. So that's very exciting, and I've just found a recipe for how to make eyeshadow, so that'll be another video coming soon, and it may be another one of my business things just to add to my list. But yeah, so I love makeup, and most of my makeup I get from Pangea Vegan Store, veganstore.com over here. I love the No Miss eyeshadows, the little loose powder ones, and we also have a brand back home called Pure Geisha, and a friend of mine, Shane, she actually hand makes a lot of the makeup, so I use the foundation that I have, and I also use Beauty Without Cruelty. That's a UK brand, and they've been 20 or 30 years, I think they've been around.
They're one of the oldest.
Yeah, and they were vegan long before anyone even knew what vegan was, so they're pretty cool.
And here's the thing about supporting vegan makeup companies, if you choose to wear makeup, is it's not only just the materials in them, but they're not tested on animals, which I think is sometimes more key. I mean, it's really great. And we have, I think there's probably at least 6 or more vegan makeup companies that you can access. If you haven't shopped for this before, if you're near Whole Foods, they have Zuzu Luxe at Whole Foods, and I think like one other brand there.
Yeah.
But then if you can't find it at your local drugstore, Pangea is a great place to get it, and No Miss actually does have like the best mascara, so it's out there and available and beautiful and high quality materials.
And Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics as well, a New York brand that's like a high end sort of makeup for like models and things like that. That's really good too.
Yeah. I think, Janessa, we were going to talk about some things that I didn't think about when I first went vegan. Were products used in places that I serviced around kind of vegan and fashion, like going to the hairdresser, getting my hair cut, like what is in that conditioner you're putting in my head.
Portland has 3 vegan salons, which is,
Unheard
totally
of.
normal for us. And the one that I go to is the parlor in St. John's, and they all the hair that's cut, they donate to oil spills to clean up oil spills, and then they don't use any animal products or anything like that, and it's super. And there's 2 other ones, which of course not every place has all of that, but it's definitely. It doesn't hurt to ask, because a lot of things are accidentally vegan, so it doesn't hurt to call up and ask and be like, do you have any?
And it's just like the other stores that if you're in a smaller town, that asking those questions at the places where you get your hair, they're like, I've never thought about this before, and just bringing it up is, I'd love to have shampoo and conditioner that wasn't tested on animals and doesn't contain animal products. But I think when you say that way, it actually sounds really reasonable. Jill?
Do you guys know a good resource? Because I know some of the ingredients that they put in these products that aren't vegan are like long, unpronounceable things. Is there a good place to go to like find a list of things to look for when you're shopping for shampoo or for makeup?
PETA has one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a really
It's
good
called like the animal byproducts guide or something.
And, like the iffy ones that
What's
could
that?
be- There's a really good iPhone app. I'm not sure what it's called.
Oh,
but
cool.
vegan's in the name. And it lists it breaks it down into 2 categories, like animal, non-animal, and the ones that are iffy.
Right.
So, and if you can just avoid the iffy ones.
It's called cruelty free.
Oh, there you go.
Cruelty free.
It has a bunny, has a little
And it's
bunny.
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
Well,
When
not really
when I
free.
first became vegan, I bought this little book and it had all the like the additives and all the different numbers and everything that went through what they were. So I just had that in my handbag and I just took that out all the time.
Also, I don't know if anybody gets their nails done. I know that's maybe not always the most popular, but there are
No
vegan
miss.
nail polishes, and so you can bring those to the salon.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to a place that does your nails, where they're using like the cheapest, weirdest goop as their lotion and stuff, just bring your own, or call them and ask them. Just say, do you have a vegan lotion? And just keep out. Ask. Have your friends ask. This is like if it's part of your life and you want to keep that up. There's no reason you can't kind of encourage them to make that available. And then once it is, if you guys are bloggers, you can blog about how great these companies are who are, making more options available to for people for whom that's really important. You can
A lot
support
of the
them
time I'll
back.
start to carry it too. I go to one and I always brought my own nail polish and my own lotion, and I finally went and they were like, look what we bought you! And they have a little shelf now of like lotions, a couple colors.
That is awesome.
I still bring my own color, but they have 5 vegan colors now and they have a lotion, and like they like when I walk in, they're like, oh, we have your lotion for you! And it was not like that. I've known them for a long time and they just really liked me, and I used it in high school. I always just brought my own stuff and now they have it, and so you changed the world.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
And I shaved my
That's gonna
head
be
in March actually, and I've never had my hair this short before, and I've been trying to find products for my hair that's vegan, because I've never really worn much product in my hair, and I've been asking my friends with short hair, what do I do with my hair? There's an Aveda product I use, is it Di Lorenzo? Is that something over here?
That does sound familiar.
Is it
Di
like in
Lorenzo.
white? Does anyone know that? Yeah.
Giovanni.
Pardon?
Giovanni.
Yeah, that'd be it, in the white,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh, like
that's
whiter
one-
at the bottom.
It's what?
Like the bottle's whiter at the bottom.
No, it's
Yeah.
sort of clear and it's one of them stands up.
Yeah, but a lot of them
It's
are
at
kind
Whole
of,
Foods.
they have wider ones.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question. I know you guys are dying to have one of these vegan buttons with lions on them. How about this one? What is the name of the all-vegan belt company based here in Portland that makes belts out of recycled materials up in the northeast part of town?
Go ahead.
She can have it.
Aww.
Thanks, princess.
Wait, what was the answer?
Couch.
Oh,
No.
no.
Oh, no.
Give me that back.
They do.
Wait, she was next.
Maybe there's more than one.
Held.
Hell,
Yes.
yeah.
More than what?
Yeah, there's a
I said, what's the name of the
Where's Couch
here in
from?
Portland that makes
Oh,
all those like
oh,
materials up and
yeah.
down.
Northeast part of town.
I was
Are they
impressed.
northeast?
I know, and
Um,
it's
P-E-L-T.
H-E-L-D.
H-E-L-D.
Yeah, and so the only new materials involved in their belts are the buckles and the rivets, and then all the actual bulk of it is recycled.
They had a gift certificate in a silent auction last night as well.
It's not the same with splash belts.
Splash.
Split. Yes, I knew it was something. Where it's all
Or
recycled.
splash.
Splash. It's recycled tires.
Yeah, it's recycled
tires.
With hemp back.
Mhm.
I think, is there Splash as well? I've got a
Yes.
guitar strap of Splash, I'm
Okay,
sure.
then.
Well, Couch makes guitar straps and camera straps also.
Oh, camera straps, that's good to know.
Mine is
Couch.
not riveted, totally thick. I mean, I'm down with that, but sometimes I just want a cute belt, and I
Right.
can never find a cute, small, vegan.
Matt Nat has belts now.
Yeah.
You
Also,
can-
Truth belts out of Canada.
You can use ribbons too.
Yes. And ribbons is like only.
Truth has like just really, really great, cute belts, and they're affordable, and I think they're available on like most online stores and
Yeah.
things like that. Okay. Another question? Or can you-
Yeah, doing more questions.
Okay. Let's do a hard one.
Oh, do that. Do the
Do you want to do this one or this one?
6.
Number 6. Okay, this is a hard. I think. Well, maybe not. If something is labeled as man-made or has the textile symbol, this is true or false. This means that it's leather-free.
False.
False. You're correct. You want this?
Sure.
Okay.
You have to,
You can throw that.
you have to put it on and show everyone.
So- I tweeted about that yesterday because I just found out that so what you guys might find on shoes, a really common labeling system is man-made materials, sometimes all man-made, or actually sometimes they use 2 images. One is a hash mark that's supposed to mean textiles, and another looks like a small hide, and that's supposed to mean leather. And for the last 18 years, I've assumed that if it didn't have the leather symbol and said all man-made, that it was probably synthetic. But it turns out that leather symbol is only reserved for synthetic materials that are more than 50% leather. So a product could actually have a lot of leather byproducts or fibers in it in the synthetics that they make. Recycled scraps, especially like through tennis shoes and things like that, that might not be leather. And this is where that kind of like, there's so much to learn, there's so much to know. And what is your line? Shoes labeled vegan, you're not gonna have to worry about. But that's such a tiny portion of the materials that are out there. And I think this is a good dovetail to talk in the question about other things that are in shoes and bags that aren't labeled as vegan. Glue is a big one. There's just the amount of research that you would have to do to figure that out. It's great.
It's
And so
hard, yeah.
it's hard.
You never know, like playing cards are coated in gelatin.
I did not know that.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Surprise!
So they're vegan cards.
Not that I know of.
What?
No.
New
So-
business.
Yeah, right? That is a good idea. There's a marketing panel. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people don't actually know, I mean, I think this is related to fashion, is that not all tattoo inks are vegan, especially dark blacks. And here there's a vegan tattoo parlor, but everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And there's actually brands that are accidentally vegan, which is great, and you can research those online. But I think probably for like the first 8 years that I was vegan, I had no idea. I might have like a non-vegan tattoo on my back, I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
Skeleton Key, which is where you can go for a discount this week, is all vegan, as is the one in the vegan mini mall. For vegan
Scapegoat.
tattoos.
Yeah.
I went to Skeleton Key last night.
You did?
And all of the products he suggested for aftercare were not vegan.
Oh,
Like,
really?
he
Oh,
pulled
my.
out a Burt's Bees thing, and then he said Aquaphor, and he was telling me the ingredients that have lanolin in it.
Oh,
So then I
wow.
was like, so then what should I use? And he didn't have any suggestions.
Oh, really?
Someone that
Yeah.
We have this, back home we have this Lucas pawpaw ointment that I use on my lips, but that's, I don't know, do you have pawpaw?
There's the Mary Hemp
Hempsters.
has a
That's,
tattoo balm.
But that's for protecting it after it's healed. It's not
Oh.
actually for the healing process.
I was
I
told
use
that
it
Skeleton
for
Key just used soap and water and then just lotion that wasn't, I didn't buy anything. I just used soap and water then lotion. But that was the owner who told me, so maybe,
Yeah, this guy was kind of new, so maybe.
oh, maybe he didn't realize.
Yeah, that's also very common.
But that's a good, that's exactly the kind of place you can be like, oh, well, actually, like to use that if you could start carrying these other products. What tattoo did you get?
I got the vegan logo on my foot.
Awesome.
Do you want to show it?
I can't see it.
Now I can't wear shoes.
Can you please come to the front?
Yeah.
Is that whitey?
Yeah.
We'll get.
Show up.
Can you walk down?
Oh, cool.
So that's what?
You're on a runway
So
now.
it'll be a what?
Yeah, it'll fade a little bit and sort of be like more flesh colored.
That's
So
pretty
almost like a
cool.
scar.
Do the
Yeah.
runway floor.
That's really tough.
Yeah, the foot
Okay.
is probably the worst place to get a tattoo.
Here, I have another question for you guys. This is cute. Anybody else have some vegan tattoos? Okay.
Another question?
Yeah, I have another question for you guys. Which of these areas has not hosted a vegan fashion show? San Francisco, London, Montreal, Paris, New York.
Yeah.
Somebody raise your hand so that I can give a button to the right person.
Paris, I'm gonna guess.
Nope.
San Francisco.
Nope.
New York.
Nope.
Paris.
Nope. It's actually London is the answer.
The lady in orange said London.
Oh, did she? Somebody say London?
And you said no.
Did you?
Yeah, so
They talking the same time.
yeah, no. Oh, that's probably what happened. So London.
Who said London?
No one said London.
Paris has
Children.
That
give her one that's a different color than the one she has. She can give it to her husband. But hopefully soon. Yeah, Paris just had one recently. San Francisco just had one last year. New York's was kind of New York area. It wasn't in the heart of the city.
You guys all know that Jill's the one that compiled the whole list of blogs for everybody on Facebook.
I thought you were going to say I compiled this.
She's the one that's got everybody who submitted their blog. She's got them on there. Thanks, Jill.
Yes. Thanks for doing
And
that.
I also have an awesome website called Vegan Cuts. And this week our deal is for the Vegan Beauty Market. It's an online store that sells vegan makeup. You can go in there and check it out.
That was Vegan Cuts. Go to Vegan Cuts.
Does anyone have any questions?
Can you just tell me that statistic again? So if it says all man-made materials, it can still have, what, up to 50%?
Right, so that it could, but that doesn't mean it does. It could be completely leather free, but the leather symbol requires at least 50% leather.
So you can never trust all man-made, basically.
Is that one of the things the company would even know if you emailed and asked?
Perhaps. I mean, if you went high up enough, you might have to. It depends on the shoe company. Some shoe companies are more involved in their own textile making, and some are purchasing it. But yeah, it's it's there to kind of protect consumers from like getting fake leather when they're paying for real leather. It's just a total it's like like putting soy in burgers and calling the burger. It's just kind of the opposite way of thinking about it. But
That's like the worst news I've ever heard.
Uh-huh.
Honestly. I feel so discouraged
I know, because I shop
by
at
this.
Target all the time, and I found the all man-made materials in that.
well, and I think obviously calling and asking, but also the types of materials that are clearly not leather-esque, like rubbers and canvases and stuff.
Are you saying that it's if it says all man-made, then it might not be, or if it's just those symbols?
Even if it says it. So they can choose between the words or the symbol, so that doesn't happen to me. But to say something is leather, it has to be more than 50% leather. So anything that is less than 50% leather gets automatically tagged as all man-made or synthetic. So synthetic leather, yeah.
Wow. So unless it's clearly marked vegan, it could be anything.
Yeah. Or unless it states the other material. So like canvas would be a cotton material, or they might list the other materials. But.
Did you have a question back there a minute ago?
No.
I have a question.
Yes.
I think you guys talked about this, but I am just now sort of getting, that's why I'm sitting on this panel, because I'm just now getting more into, I now make a more conscious decision about the things that I buy fashion-wise. I wouldn't go out and buy leather, but because I came into veganism from, a standpoint of health, as I have gotten more into it, it's obviously encompassing other things. So my question is, lot of designer bags and, you know, brands that I supported that, okay, I have these things and I don't really wear them, you know, anymore. You know, I feel like, I felt conflicted about it. And a lot of it is like sentimental because most of them have been gifts and things like that. So do you suggest that you just donate those things, but in donating them, are you still kind of like been giving them to somebody? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I'm not a drug user anymore, but here, you take my drugs. You know? I'm just trying to figure out, like, you know, I have a lot of that.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. I mean, I do. That's just, you know, part of who I was and something that I like. So.
Yeah.
you know,
LC
now
might
it's
say bury it because you know she likes the burial ceremony. But you know, one idea would be you could sell it and donate that money to an animal advocacy, something like that. Where especially if they're a designer and could, that you know, $100 or $200 can go a long way at a farm sanctuary or you know someplace that is close to your heart. That you could kind of flip that around.
And I know some animal sanctuaries too. They actually have accept fur coats for the animals as well to keep them warm. So that's always
there's like coats for cubs, I think it is.
Yeah.
You can donate all your fur and they put it with like baby cubs that they could like be next to something that would be like their mother.
So going wild, there's horrible fur at the op shops and or thrift stores and give them to the animals sanctuary. But yeah, I don't know, Krista, that's a good one because like Anika said too, I would have said put on eBay and put the money towards something good, or definitely I'm all into the spiritual aspect of putting what came from the earth back into the earth, so you know, a bit of a burial ceremony from the animal that once was.
Right. Thanks.
And if there are you know designer bags that you clearly loved at some point, take the opportunity to write to the company. Say like, hey, I've discovered this. It's important to me. I love your bags. Will you be coming out with a vegan version? Will you be doing that? And just see what you might hear that the answer might be yes. And you might not be the only one asking those types of questions.
That's great. Any other question?
And who here, can I ask a question? Who here currently blogs about anything vegan fashion?
I do hair dye posts.
Hair dye posts? That's another good point.
It's
Hair
all
dye.
vegan hair dye. So,
All vegan hair dye.
What's that brand?
I use raw hair dye. I've used some other ones. Manic Panic also has. I use bright colors a lot, but there are some traditional regular colors. You look it up online, but the raw hair dye, it's all vegan, 100% natural, like low chemical. There's also if you do bleach your hair at all, there are low chemical, like all natural bleaches and toners out there. So
Yeah. So hair dye blogging.
What's your website, Kurt?
that one's on veganchronicles.blogspot.
Who else raised their hand? Taylor? Tell us about your blog. Is it on this list?
Not on this list. It's not a fashion blog, but I do fashion posts. I'm really interested in opening an actual brick and mortar vegan shoe and back store in San Diego, where I'm from.
Awesome.
So I, kind of been kind of like you. I have a ton of shoes that are leather, lots of beautiful Italian leather shoes from J. Crew that I loved for years, and now they're sitting in my closet, and I just, trying to figure out what to do with them. So I'm slowly starting to, research and find different brands that I might want to put in my store. And so when I find something really good, I blog about it. I blog about food and all kinds of other things. So it's just
What's your blog?
Veganista.
Veganista. Cool. And Taylor, what was your blog?
Men's Hot Piece of Class, blogspot.
What's it called?
Oh, hot piece of class.
And
And is it mostly fashion?
Yeah, that's all I've done so far. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm probably gonna start doing makeup.
Awesome. Also for makeup, Cruelty Free Face by Melissa Elliott. She does talks a lot about all the different products. She reviews the products. She also gives like little lessons.
And she was going to be here today, actually, with us.
She lives in Europe.
Originally.
So couldn't
And
make
on
it.
the video one I was meant to do too.
Does anybody else have a fashion blog?
I run Vegan Beauty Review. It's mainly like beauty products and makeup, and a few tutorials and food videos, and some fashion, definitely.
Hi, Sunny. I love your blog. You're hiding back there. I didn't even see you. So it's Vegan Beauty Review.
Any
for-
other
yeah.
I have a question. So if you guys do a lot of thrifting and like we talked about your scarves and stuff, is there anything that like you would see at a thrift store that might be made out of animals that you feel that you are reusing it and you would then purchase it, or you just completely stay away from
No,
it?
ever, never. I don't buy it.
If it says
No.
leather or if it says wool or if
Yeah.
it says silk, I don't buy
And
it.
so do you have anything that you guys still wear that you've had way before you were vegan?
I got rid of everything.
This is
I
the
just-
only
yeah.
things.
I don't.
I did though, when I first went vegan, it was kind of a transition, so my
Yeah.
shoes,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
kind of wore them out. I think I only had like one pair of shoes too. It was a little scroungier than
Anybody
but-
found vegan hiking socks? Because
Yes, in
I'm
fact,
on freaking
yeah,
mission
They
and I
make
can't
great vegan hiking socks that
find
I've heard
them.
are better than wool.
Yeah, they are.
Because they're synthetic and they wick better.
You guys know the
The
company?
I just
hemp
started
ones.
wearing them in
Get 'em?
Seattle.
There's
I'll
hemp ones
send you.
as well, isn't
I just
Check
bought
our
them.
I went on the website and I couldn't find any.
Just put in synthetic hiking socks.
Okay.
And they're made of a really good material that dries so fast.
Okay.
What about bamboo ones or hemp?
Yeah.
I think there's an hemp one.
I know there's one. I don't know the name though, sorry.
If I go home and see a tag on mine, I'll let you know.
I'll think it too. I just
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, you were
everybody-
doing the five.
I might just say that I think the way that you dress and the way that you present yourself is a really good way to promote veganism as well to people, like whether it's a message t-shirt or just the shoes that someone goes, I like your shoes, oh no animal died for these shoes, or just something to get conversation happening, or just to show that there's many different types of vegans as well, and you can use fashion as a way to market veganism properly.
We did talk
into the
about
mainstream.
fashion as activism, like the shirts that you make, that gets the message out there and it gets more people out there, or modified style, I'm the only one. I have to say, I just resigned from modified style, but it's still going on and you guys should all still look at it. But I was the only vegan and there's 3 of us people, so I had to kind of fight to get a lot of, to have vegan food served and to only get vegan material, because there would be people be like, well, wool is way more sustainable than plastic, so let's just take wool. No, we're not going to. And then it led to other discussions about why not. And it was a great way to begin conversation
This
with
is
those people.
a good point too, is you can't do activism through fashion unless you do the research. So it does make sense to spend some time online, understand what goes into making wool, and can talk about somebody who might make an argument about it being a natural fabric. Same with leather and fur, and the amount of chemicals and transportation and then the cruelty on top of it all that you can speak to. So if somebody's like, why are you wearing plastic instead of a natural renewable fiber? You're like, sheep are renewable, but
And sheep's the worst environmental hazard as well for animals. So
yeah,
that's
so it's
another
smart
issue.
if you think that you
Yeah.
might have a chance to talk to people about what you're wearing, to just know, to have a little research in your back pocket.
Do you know a good site or two for that?
Wow, there's a bunch. Actually, a lot of these blogs talk about things like that for sure.
Colleen has a really great, Patrick Goudreau has a great podcast about wool.
Yeah.
It's really informative about sheep
Yeah,
and
and-
what their life is like after they're no longer productive for wool.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to plug Peter or anything, but they do have those types of resources readily available. You can
It's
type
actually
in
really
like
good,
what's
'cause they
wrong
have
with
a page
leather,
for
what's
every,
wrong with
animal product, and they are just like a one-page good.
Good,
Sorry.
quick overview
Yeah.
for absorbing and referenceable facts.
And I like Discerning Group too, and Josh, because he has the environmental aspects and the fashion ones as well.
Yep.
Is modified style going to stay vegan now that you resigned?
That's a really good question. Maybe because the other gal who does it with me, her fiance's vegan.
Okay.
So
Is the Seattle one vegan, or was that just okay? That was
No,
just you
that
doing
was
that
me.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Do we have any more?
Nope, I think we're out of.
Yeah,
I think we ran out of.
Wait, 3 buttons.
3 buttons left.
Come on.
Okay, wait, I have a question. I do have one left.
Raise your hands, don't flirt it out.
What
Yeah.
vegan fashion lover started the campaign / magazine / button project to fight the increase in the use of fur in fashion with the project Pinnacle Reinvent the Icon?
At the back.
What?
Yes! Joshua Catcher. He does really
What
interesting.
we've been talking
I-
today.
I know.
2 more questions about stuff.
2 black buttons left.
Okay, I don't have any more questions, so
Um,
does anybody else? Let's see what's-
someone named 2 of the makeup things that I use that I talked about. See who listened. Taylor?
We do have cruelty and OCC.
One more?
It's yours. We're being honest today.
Thanks you guys for coming, and thanks for being more, really communicative in this kind of unmoderated conversation here.
Hope you got something out of it.
I'm
Yes,
sorry,
go.
everybody, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So do you consider, is it wrong if somebody says that they're vegan, but they still do wear animal, like they're vegan for the health, they don't, eat animals, but they still wear animals?
So they purchase animal products?
You're not an ethical
No, they
vegan,
don't
you're a
purchase
health
animal
vegan.
products anymore.
So vegan by definition includes not using animal byproducts. It's not just about food. So for that definition, they could say, I eat a vegan diet.
Right.
So
That
you're
would be-
saying that you think that differentiation needs to be made when
Yes.
someone is saying, identifying
Yeah,
themselves
just
with
eating
the
vegan
culture,
food
I
doesn't
guess.
make you vegan, actually.
The lifestyle.
That's like what people call a health vegan or dietary vegan, but veganism encompasses a lot more than just what you eat. So
But a lot of people did become a vegan because of health reasons, so it's important to remain open to people
Yeah.
who right now maybe aren't there.
Right.
But for me, I just think from a marketing perspective that by muddying the waters, by someone saying they're a vegan but doing something that's not vegan, that's not good enough for what we're trying to promote properly to people. And yeah, I agree. Everyone's on their own life path and they get to certain things at different times, but don't call yourself vegan if you're not.
Thank you.
Thank
guys
you for that very good
coming.
question.
Yeah, that was
Thank you,
good.
everyone.
Thank you.